Well, my father came home, and he was totally, like, on crack. My dad's, like, a drug dealer. He was either on, like, coke or PCP or something, but he was, like, out of his mind this day. And he came home, and he just, like, looked really scary, and he and my mom got into this, like, huge fight, and then he started, like, bashing up all of our, like, electronics in the house, like, any way for, like, my mom to communicate, and he cut our phone lines, and then he, like, stole this, like, took the gun out of the case that was in our house and was gonna, like, shoot our family, and then I had to run across the street and, like, call the cops at my neighbor's house, but the cops took, like, an hour and a half to get to my house, and by that time my dad had already left, and my sisters were, like, crying, and
but I remember one particular, my mother, my father, my sisters and I, we were in the car, and we were going somewhere. I don't know what, if the top busted off or whatever. We had a minivan. The bleach just went spraying everywhere. Myself, my little sister unfortunately got the brunt of it. It went down her front and covered most of her legs, and it got myself as well. We all went inside, and my dad in the middle of it, which took my older sister.
And the next thing I know, I was driving away.
One day she came crying because some nurse was mean to her, and she thought the nurse was going to be mean to her.
That was basically the end of it.
That was a very rough time.
I talked to him over the phone, and I told him I really didn't want anything to do with him.
One time that my dad was going to do
that was probably...
It doesn't sound bad when I talk about it, but it's a reoccurring dream that I used to get all the time as a kid, and it scared the bejesus out of me. But it's basically this one really big head on one side, and this little small head on the other, and the big one's just yelling at the small one so loud, and you can't understand the words because it's so mumbled and loud and awful, and then this little one's just trying to talk, and the big one keeps drowning him out, and poor little one. And then my older brother felt so bad, he brought out all these Batman Band-Aids, and he first put like one or...
The blood's gonna get out over there!
And then he kept putting more and more, because I kept pointing in places where the blood would get out, so I ended up with like this
thing, and she was gray, like, her lips were like blue.
And my mother and my father were the first two that they were
so
like
much
holding
fluid
over.
into her.
Just the colors were very vivid.
She lived. It was a miracle. But she
we
woke
had to
up
meet
the
all
next
the
day,
Santas
and
at
the
10
crazy
a.m.
thing was she
There's
recognized
probably
to
like
this person,
3,500 Santas, and we went
him,
through the entire city of New York all day
It
long,
made me feel so happy.
and singing Christmas songs and like dancing in the street.